Well, hey, Miss Amelia.
Well, hey, Miss Sydney, how you doing?
I'm making it. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Well, today is our last podcast topic in our Navigating Life in the Middle series, Faith, Fulfillment, and Finding Your Path. We are on episode 8 of this series that we have. So this is our final episode. Hopefully, throughout this whole series, we've been able to help and kind of provide an honest, supportive, and faith centered space where women can navigate life's unique challenges and find encouragement in Jesus. So, through this last episode, we're going to be talking about faith based self care, recharging your spirit, body, and mind. Sometimes self care can feel indulgent or even selfish at times. So today we are going to be talking about reframing self-care through a faith-based lens, exploring ways to rejuvenate that honor your body and spirit.
Welcome to No More Sunday Scaries, a podcast for women navigating the chaos of life, love, and work, all while keeping Jesus at the center.
If you're in the middle and figuring out what's next, this is your safe space to laugh, learn, and lean into God's plan for your life.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Sydney. Together, we're here to unpack those difficult questions, tackle the what am I doing with my life moments, and remind you that you're never alone in this journey.
So grab your coffee and let's kick those Sunday scaries to the curb.
Because with faith, community, and a little bit of fun, the work week doesn't have to be so scary. Let's dive in. So, Miss Amelia, after that little introduction of today's topic, have you thought about ways that you have been able to have self-care, protect your peace in a faith-based lens, and honoring your body and your spirit?
I'm glad that we're ending the series with this because I think we've talked about community and leading and finding your purpose and finding your people and all of these like outward action, like inward reflection, but outward action. And I think ending it of, okay, at the end of the day, you've got to kind of focus, am I filling my cup? Like I'm trying to do all these things. I'm in the middle. Do I go right? Do I go left? It can be taxing if you're not actually like taking a temperature of yourself and seeing what works for you. Because we talked about, I think it was last week in the surrendering control, we talked a lot about comparison and what is the timeline and looking left and right and feeling like you're not caught up if, you're so focused on that or figuring that out, then you're going from an empty cup is what I'm trying to say. So I like that we are ending it with self-care. And so I think a lot of the times when I think of self-care, if I hear people say self-care, I'm like, I roll. Okay, you sure that's great in theory, or like that's great or whatever. But it's like, what does that actually look like? And is it a good practice? Yes. But what does that actually look like day to day? And I think it's little pieces each day that, for me, that make a better self-care plan because I think the pieces of us talking about what we do to fight the Sunday scaries is kind of been our way of like, how is self-care? But you can't spend 30 minutes on a Sunday night and then be good for the whole week. Like you have to kind of have it sprinkled. So I think the best step is what we've kind of been sharing of Sunday Scaries. But I've just noticed some of that self-care is at the end of the day, maybe not feeling bad about spending 15 minutes scrolling on TikTok. Do I do only 15 minutes? Maybe not. Maybe 15 minutes turns into 30, turns into an hour. And I'm like, I've just wasted an hour, but maybe not feeling guilty about that. And then thinking, okay, was there something better I could have done with the other 45 minutes? If not, okay, then I just scroll TikTok for an hour. That's okay. And I don't think I've got that figured out, but I think just giving yourself grace. This one day this week, I had a headache at work. And so like when I got home, I ate and then just kind of like lounging and not doing anything. and not feeling bad about that, because it's like, well, my head hurt, so I gave myself a break. But then every single day when I come home, I can't do that. I've kind of got to do other things, like put my clothes away, I think is a form of self-care. Making your bed every morning is a form of self-care. I think those pieces we miss, because when people hear self-care, they think, okay, I'm going to do like a sugar scrub, and then I'm going to do like my eye patches, which those are self-care for sure. But it is like just tidying up your space can be self-care. So I think something that's been beneficial for me is doing something kind of every day. And one tangible thing, I don't always do this, but when I do it, it it's so great. But I saw this thing on TikTok when I was scrolling for an hour or two that said, anywhere you go to shop, there's always, or restaurant or anything, there's a closing shift. So they don't just, when people leave, they're not just like, okay, and leave it for the person the next morning. There's a closing shift where they sweep and tidy and all of that. So when the people come in to open, it's ready to roll. And this girl on TikTok says, your house, you should have a closing shift. It doesn't have to be long, but you need to tidy up, because what does she say? She says, you don't want today's problems to carry over to tomorrow. So because you didn't want to empty the dishwasher, now it's tomorrow's problem. So like, do the closing shift, so then when you wake up in the morning, you feel more motivated because you're not instantly bogged down with those responsibilities. And so I think it's Kylie Perkins, I think her name is. She's like going around on TikTok. I'm like, I love that. Instead of like, just clean up after yourself. It's like everywhere they do a closing shift, just have your own closing shift at home. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, because I'm literally cleaning up the messes that I'm making. Yeah. And so it's like, just do it there. And so I've started to do that. And I'll also, because I always sit on the couch with a blanket, I'll even like fold the blanket up, just even though I know when I get home tomorrow, I'm going to get it out and do it. But it just makes the difference. It makes it feel like, okay, I've got a tidy physical space, which we've talked about before. But for you, kind of what does self-care look like and mean to you?
I'm pretty similar as well. I hate leaving dishes in the sink overnight. I have to have a clean kitchen sink at night, just because I don't know why, but I feel like it just causes me anxiety. And like, I hate crumbs and things like that left in the sink. So I'm like, the sink has to be like a clean space for me. So I totally agree. Like, doing the dishes before you go to bed, or, even just like cleaning them off, rinsing out the crumbs in the sink, but like maybe just leave them in the sink, but put them to one side and just kind of collect them all, or, whatever, but they're rinsed off and they're clean. Like, even just doing like a simple task like that is enough too. But for me, for self-care wise, I am a big candle connoisseur. I like to pride myself on. So I love a good candle. I can definitely give good candle recs. I kind of invest in my candles just because I feel like they really set the tone for your home. So I'm big on like just like almost studying hotels and just how they like host and just, do all the things. I'm kind of just like fascinated with this. And a lot of times hotels will have really good smelling lobbies. I mean, like, you can go into a really nice hotel and you're like, oh my gosh, this scent is amazing. And there's one hotel in specific that I love to stay at whenever there's an opportunity. It's the Canopy Hotel by Hilton. And they're specific to the area that they're in. So they have a lot of characteristics of the area that they're in. Like, actually, the one right in Memphis has like just a lot of homage to the musical city and things like that. So it has lamps that are like upside, or they're lamps that are like this Art Deco old fashioned microphone, and then they have like like an old CD, like early 2000 like CD shelf, like Art Deco inspired, but it's like all modern and new and things like that. And so Anyway, their lobby smells immaculate when you walk in, and it's because they want you to remember them by something, because you always remember smells and you relate smells to a memory. And so their lobbies just smell amazing. So I've really taken pride in making my house like smell good and like giving it a scent that people can remember it, and hope that they do come to my home, it's met with like happy and fun memories. And so, and because Loki, I have a dog, and so I'm always trying to mask that dog scent sometimes. So I work hard, okay, to make my house smell good. Like there is no dog living in this house. So yeah, so I love a good candle being lit and just like having a good scent in the home that really just almost like takes just the day away that I experience outside of my house. So then when I come in and I smell my home, it's like I smell the memories that I'm making with my husband and my dog and things like that. And so, and just being at home with people that you love and care about. And so that's something that I like to do for self-care, is light a candle. I also, whenever I'm feeling a little too in my head and things like that, like I like to journal as well, even if it's just writing down a few sentences or just anything. That I like to sometimes put my thoughts to paper just to get it out of my head. Right now I've kind of been, my friend from home, we have, or from college, we have a shared album on our photo app on our iPhones. And so we kind of do like we call it a Waffle Wednesday. And we just kind of like do a little lowdown. I mean, it can literally just be a video of you just like staring at the screen, or, you know, actually giving a lowdown of your week, or, you know, talking about something that's going on in the news or anything like that. It can be literally anything. So we just kind of have a Waffle Wednesday of like what's on our mind and things like that. So we do like a little check-in. So that's almost like another self-care. Like instead of putting your thoughts to paper, it's like you're just recording yourself and then putting it in your shared album with your friends, and then they get to kind of see your thoughts and things like that. But so that's another thing that I've been doing. And then of course, like trying to read the word a lot more as well, like taking time to really sit down and see what the Lord is doing in my life, because I feel like he's been speaking a lot to me lately. And it's been quite crazy, just because I feel like this has been something that I've wanted to be on fire for the Lord again. And so the fact that I feel like I'm hearing him speak to me right now is just like, it's crazy and it's awesome all at the same time. So like just really getting in the word and doing things like that. And then of course, like I would be lying if I don't doom scroll. So yes, I do doom scroll as well. So TikTok, a lot of times I try to get my algorithm set to where it's like the girlies that are like, I'm going to Italy, or I live in Italy, here's my outfit of the day. Or there's this one TikToker, I think her name's like Tess or something like that, and she tries recipes for the first time, and she lives in Canada. And she just like I feel like her content is like my, like, what do they call it when it's like your safety blanket?
Like a comfort creator.
Yes. I feel like she's my comfort creator, just because she's just so like, I don't care, we're just gonna make this and it's just gonna work out. And I love that about her. So yes, I definitely do also doom scroll. I am not gonna lie on that as well, just because I feel like sometimes it's just nice to not have a thought in your head and just scroll. Like literally just rot on the couch and scroll some days. So I am all for that. If that is your self-care, do it. Obviously, like at the point when it's like starting to affect how you live your life, that's maybe like let's reassess. But like I am all for scrolling on TikTok. But yeah, so that's kind of what I do to self-care. And then obviously, like I am a girly girl, so taking that everything shower, doing the face care, skin care, ice rolling, eye patches, face mask, Aquaphor on the whole body, like all of that I am down for. So
Looking like a glazed donut.
looking like a glazed donut. Get that flashlight out, girl, because you're gonna be able to see the glow. Yeah, because that is literally where it's at. So yeah, an everything shower, all of that. Like, it's just little simple things that I feel like can really be self-care. It doesn't have to necessarily be this whole, like, I'm gonna go shopping and then I'm gonna go do my nails, I'm gonna go get my toes done, I'm gonna go get my hair done, or you don't have to spend all of this money. Like, you can just do things at home. Like, if you don't have face mask or anything like that, get a bag of ice and just like lay it on your face and things like that. That'll help the drainage, and I don't know, the lymphatic drainage. That's what they say on TikTok, so I'm gonna say it's
It
right.
must be true.
Yeah. So it just, do simple things like that. It doesn't have to necessarily be expensive. It can just be going outside and sitting on your front porch or wherever, just to get some sunlight on your skin. Like, it can literally be anything. The world is your oyster.
Mm-hmm. When you were talking about candles, it made me think I will like get out a candle, but if I haven't cleaned yet, I'm like, no, I can't light it until like that's the final step, especially in the kitchen.
Yeah.
If I'm like, okay, I have to clean the counter, then I can light my candle because that signals this space is clean.
Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah, and not that I do that everywhere, because like I've got something in the I've got a candle in the living room, so I don't necessarily like dust before I do it. But something about the kitchen, I like can't light my kitchen candle until I've wiped everything down, and it does like smells totally like trigger. Ooh, this is good, or like if it smells bad, you're like, what? Is there something in my sink? Did I not take the trash out early enough? Like, it's just like so many things, and it definitely can set the tone. Because I've got like a air freshener in my kitchen. It's starting to. I need to replenish it. But when I get home from work, it's called like Apple Mango Tango or something, and I'm like, the house is clean. So it definitely sets the scene, and just like little things like that. So I love a good candle too. I like that shared album idea, because it's not where you're like having to send stuff. It's like, here's the album. If you've got time to drop in it, do it. And then if you've got time to look. And I like that, where it's not like we've got to send a message to each other. It's like, here it is. And two, you've got your history. Yeah. So it's not like you're having to scroll through your text message thread to see like, oh, what are our pictures? It's like, here's our literal photo album.
Yeah.
I've never thought, I've had shared albums, but it's more so been, when you go on a trip with people and like they take pictures and you share your pictures. I've done that. I've never been in like an active one where we're like continuously adding. I like that.
Yeah. I actually found the idea on TikTok. Not gonna lie.
And
TikTok is where it's at.
And that's the thing of like, because TikTok for me, like, do I use it too much? Yes. But it's tough to like not like it, because you can get a recipe, and then you can get a good self-care idea, and then you can get a good giggle, and then you get outfit inspiration. Like, I think it is good, but like you said, and this is with any social media or any hobby, because to me, what's the difference of putting on my favorite Netflix show and doom scrolling? Like, you're still not doing anything. Right. But I think the key to it is like, sometimes it's nice to have a mindless activity and like not be productive, especially if you're working all day and you're making decisions and you're doing this and you're doing that. When you get home, it's okay to have like 2 or 3 hours where you're not contributing to society. Like, you spend 8 hours contributing to society, and then you're maybe with your partner and all that. Like, it's okay to spend 30 minutes doing nothing. And I feel like that's what's harmful in our minds about self-care. It's like, when we're not being productive, it feels like it's like selfish. And so I do think too, because that is one thing I wanted to mention, because we put sometimes self-care can feel indulgent and even selfish, because there can be a point where like self-care gets too much, where it's like it's always you centric, like you're not doing certain things because you're like, oh, self-care, I gotta do this and do that. And so I think it is important to know that balance of not, filling from it or pouring from an empty cup, but not being so filled with yourself that you're not giving to others,
Right.
And I think that level can be different for different people. If you're someone who doesn't get energy from other people, you're going to need to pull back a little bit. But I do think that is important, but it's okay to focus on yourself a little bit. Not me, but hey, like I'm feeling kind of down. I need to go outside and get some sun, like you said. Or, not that our appearance is the main thing, but like I'm feeling kind of gross. Let me do a little bit of this. Let me paint my nails. Cheap. I got some cheap Walmart $2 paint nail polish that I use. And so it's like, and that just makes a difference. Like that just makes me feel like, okay, like I took care of myself and like I did something to focus. So I think it can be something easy. It doesn't have to be this, 10-step night routine where you're doing the facial drainage and all that. But if you do, more power to you. Get that jawline, girl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it really is like what works for you and what makes you not feel like it's going to be a chore, but like honestly, almost like a treat, or anything like that. Like I don't know, going to get a coffee on Friday morning or something like that. That can just be like a little treat and a little like you made it to the end of the week. You're here. Cheers to the weekend. Go get you a coffee, girl. Things like that. Or it could just be going for a quick walk or anything like that. So it's just like there's different forms of self-care. And I agree too that there's a point too where it's like, okay, like we can't say everything self-care. Like we've got to be able to like serve others too, especially as believers, but it's good too to like have that healthy balance because we have to make sure that our hearts are right and things like that before we can serve others. So, if making sure that your heart is right and doing all of that self-care is going to help you serve others, like, of course, do it. But it's like, don't blame things on it being self-care or, try to like hide behind things because it's self-care or anything like that. Because I think that can definitely hurt relationships that need to be in place. It can definitely hurt maybe like work. It can definitely hurt just you in general and maybe lead you down a path of self-pity or depression or anxiety or anything like that. So it's definitely, I think it's a point to like self-care is great as long as it doesn't lead to isolation and things like that. And so I think that that's sometimes where it can happen is if you're doing too much self-care, whatever that means, is that making you feel isolated when you need community or anything like that. So I think it's just good to make sure that you're able to balance that.
Because I think that's something that I've started to become aware of myself. And it's because it's easy for me to self-isolate because I'm not married. I don't have a pet. I don't live where my family is. And, I've got friends, but it's easy for me not to hang out with them. So it's very much of like it is my effort. And so I definitely feel myself, not necessarily in the name of like, I'm like self-care, but I'm like, I'm fine by myself. Like I'd love to have somebody else, but it's like, I'm okay by myself. And I use that a lot. And then I start to self-isolate and not hang out as much. And I mean, I think I'm currently kind of in that season because the way that my work schedule has worked out, I can't go to morning Bible study anymore. So I haven't been like hanging out as much. And so I can definitely slip into that because I do like to be by myself, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it's happening all the time, you start to get a little bitter when people, you're at work and you're like, why are these people talking to me? I'm alone all the time at home. And so it's like, it can definitely, like, there's a balance there. And, I think there's two sides of that. Someone like me can slip into that self-isolation. And then there's the other side where people who enjoy people so much or like rely on people so much, they have to be with people, like they can't be alone. So I think, well, I cannot relate to that. That does happen to people of like, oh my gosh, I can't be alone. I've like got to be with people because they make me happy. But it's like, they're going to let you down. And then also on the other side of that self-isolation, you're going to let yourself down because there's going to be days where you're like feeling down, or there's going to be days when, you just want to be lazy, but you feel bad. You feel guilty about being productive because this never your mind never quiets, and it's just always there. So I think there is a good middle ground. I think there's seasons to focus on you and seasons to focus on others. And when I say seasons, I don't mean extended period of months. I shouldn't say seasons, times. But kind of being aware of like, hey, am I isolating myself, or am I not spending enough time for myself? I think there's a balance there. There are two verses that I wanted to share. I'm going to share the typical, your body's a temple, because I think while, we were talking about the indulgent side of things, if you kind of let things go to the wayside, I think that's also important of, we've got this body, we've got one body. God doesn't make mistakes. And so how do we do the best with it? And so one verse, the body is a temple verse, is 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. And this is from the NIV, as always. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price, therefore honor God with your bodies. I just think that's always a great core verse of, take care of your body. That doesn't mean to be like, so fixated where you're limiting yourself to a certain extent, or, you're so focused on certain things, but just, if you're feeling yucky, like, let's figure out what's going on and seeing what's going on and just treating your body the best that you can, but not being vain about it. So I just feel like I always focus back on that. And then the other one is Romans 12, verse 1. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. And then later on it goes, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind and spirit. And so I just like that of offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your form of worship. And so I think that's just another form of, we talk about the experiences that we have of like, I'm so glad God has blessed me with this job.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully people say that. There may be days where you're like, good night. I just want to go home. Right. Like, why, Lord? Or, thank you, Lord, for blessing me with this person. Thank you, Lord, for this house, all that. But I don't think I spend a lot of time being like, thank you, Lord, that I can walk.
Yeah.
Thank you for waking me up. Like, I will get in the mirror. I mean, even, see, I don't look over at I just looked over at myself. I'm like, oh, she's a little shiny. I'm always like, what about this? I need to do this. I need to lift here. I'm always thinking of what's wrong. And I don't a lot of the times think about, like, you made this and, you don't make mistakes. We have flaws, but of course we always are. But like, I'm thankful that I can talk and that I mean, we can do so many things, and I think a lot of the times with my body, I can be very negative towards it. I'm not always like, thanks for getting me here. Thanks for letting me do all these things. And so I think that just was, for me, a reminder of treating my body as a temple is like worshiping God, worshiping what I was blessed with. And I just feel like that's lost a lot on myself. And so I think just thinking about self-care is caring for what God, just like if you have kids, you're taking care of them because God's trusted you with that. So taking care of yourself is kind of the same way.
Yeah, for sure. It is biblical. Take care of yourself.
Right. That's a great way to sum it up.
Yeah.
It's biblical. Take care of yourself.
Take care. Tell your mom and them I said hello.
Take care now.
But no, seriously, do take care of yourself. And if you have a hard time taking care of yourself, because yes, you might feel guilty, or maybe that wasn't a part of your upbringing, you didn't do that, you just picked yourself up by your bootstraps and rubbed some dirt on it and got over it. That's a mentality that I was raised with. My dad was very big on that. And so it was hard for me to learn how to self-care, because I'm like, wait, what is that? But it's good. There's little things that you don't probably realize are self-care, but they are. And so once you realize like what you're doing, lighting a simple candle, making sure the dishes are done at the end of the night, doing your closing shift, folding your blanket and things like that. Once you start realizing, oh, that can be counted as self-care, I feel like it's like, oh, like I actually do care about myself and want to take care of myself and things like that. So it's like once you start realizing those little things that you're already doing, I feel like it helps make you not feel so guilty, not feel like you don't know how to take care of yourself, or you don't deserve to take care of yourself, because everyone deserves to take care of themselves. Everyone deserves to treat themselves every now and then, and things like that, because we only live on this earth once, and then we go up to heaven. We can't take nothing with us. Might as well just enjoy the brownie now.
Right. I think someone once said a YOLO.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I saw a meme that was like, Jesus said, YOLO, JK, BRB.
Wait, that's actually so funny.
I'm like, that's actually hilarious.
He literally said, text you back later.
See you later.
That is so funny. Oh my God.
But that is true of like, yes, focus on health, focus on wellness, focus on mind, spirit, all the dimensions of wellness. I think there are 8 now. In a couple years, I'm sure there'll be 12.
Right.
Yes. So all the dimensions of wellness, but we're human. And like you said, if you want to hang out with your friends, enjoy the brownie, it's going to be okay. If you want to doom scroll for 30 minutes and that doesn't contribute to society, that's okay. That's okay. Like, take care. That's going to be my new tagline that I'm stealing from you.
Yeah, it's for sure.
It's biblical, take care.
It's biblical, take care. But yeah, what a time. That was a good episode. Hopefully we were able to help one person kind of realize the little self-care snippets that they do, maybe weekly, monthly, anything like that, to help them take care of themselves, and really thrive while you're trying to navigate life in the middle. So yeah, if you are just now tuning in, this is our last episode of Navigating Life in the Middle. So there are 7 other episodes you can definitely go and check out. But yeah, this is our last episode in the series. So we always end it with, how are you protecting yourself from those Sunday scaries?
So earlier you mentioned that you were watching this person on TikTok, Tess from Canada. Is it Tess Barclay?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because, and the reason I asked you that is because to answer the question of how are you fighting the Sunday scaries this week? So this past Sunday, I posted up my walking pad in my living room and I turned on YouTube and I watched Tess Barclay as one of my favorite creators, and she talks about like entrepreneurship. So I don't know if she does recipes, but she's from Canada and her name is Tess. And so, but she is like a vlogger as well. And so I popped on one of her videos and I was doing my walking pad and I was just like, this is so cool. Like, free will, baby. Like, just doing my walking, watching the video. And then I think when that ended, I watched something else and it was like maybe somebody else doing like a night routine or some routine. And I just was like excited to start the week to just have some healthy habits. And two, it's just fun to watch creators because for some reason it feels like when you find the creators that you enjoy, even though you've never spoken to them before, it's like you and your best friend just giving updates, even though they're not listening to you because you can't talk through the TV, of like, this is just so cool. So, but with the walking pad, it just made a difference because I was able to kind of, I think we talked about this in another episode, but double dip, where I was like educating myself while I was also doing a little inside walk. So,
love that. Yes, queen. Protect
what
your
about
peace.
you?
So this girl that I am referring to, she's her name's Tess Madeline, and she's just literally like the joy of my life, even though I don't know who she is.
I do realize that there can be multiple people in Canada named Tess.
Yeah.
And I was like,
no, you're good.
This is too close.
Yeah, but no, she just shares a lot of like fun recipes, and they're kind of like complex recipes that I'm like, I feel like I just need to like try to do that just because I love cooking and all the things. But how I am protecting my Sunday scaries, I have really been. So we are in the thick of Dakota's match process. We just submitted his list. It's actually due today, so we just submitted his list and did all of that, so that was fun. And then we're just trying to like really just chill until later this month to see where he will be placed, if he'll be placed, Lord's will, please, for residency in medical school. So that's been a fun time. So we've just really been trying to like do little things here and there just to like kind of keep ourselves busy and not really go into like a turmoil of just thinking about the whole process, because it can definitely consume you and like make you go crazy. So again, we have been, I don't know if I've said this before, but we've been building like Lego sets. I think I said this like a few episodes ago. We've been building Lego sets and doing those together. And then we've really just been watching like a lot of like, he's been teaching me baseball lately. So my family's not a baseball family. We are golf and football and track. My brother played football. He also ran track. And so like we were consumed in that. And then obviously I play golf. My dad plays, our whole family plays golf. So that's kind of like our family bonding thing. And so we're mainly watching golf on TV, things like that. So Dakota has been teaching me baseball, which has actually been kind of fun and like honestly like a little stress-free and like no more Sunday scaries, just because I'm like learning something new. I'm starting to pick up on a lot of things. Could I repeat terminology right now? No, absolutely not. But it's actually really interesting. It's funny because we see a lot of similarities between golf and baseball, which I know would be like, how the heck do you compare golf and baseball? It's like comparing apples and oranges, but there's actually a lot of similarities to it. So yeah, it was just like, so that's what we've been doing a lot. And then last week I talked about having like a little announcement and things like that. So now I have decided to, because of all of the moving and commotion and things like that that are going on, I can't really give my all to No More Sunday Scaries, and I feel like No More Sunday Scaries needs to be given their all to. And so I have decided to step back from this platform and let Emily take the reins, girl, and ride off into the sunset and really take No More Sunday Scaries to a new level, which I believe she can do that. And so that is what I have been doing and what has been laid on my heart. And I mean, it's not like I'm going away, forever. Maybe Emily will want me on the podcast. I don't know. She might be like, bye, girl. So there might be like, I don't know, an episode or something or anything like that if she needs me or anything. But I am definitely giving her full control of all of this. There's not going to be a partnership anymore with this, just because my schedule is really about to get conflicted with all the things, and it is going to be madness soon in my world. So can't wait for all of that. But yeah, so I just felt like I wanted to leave off on a good note, and I think it was a good episode to do that on, talking about self-care and all the things. So yeah, that is what I am doing to protect myself from those Sunday scaries and all the things. So
No, thank you for sharing that, because I think we summed it up earlier. It's biblical. Take care.
Yeah.
No, but I do appreciate you sharing that, Sydney.
Yeah.
Obviously have enjoyed us chatting and all of that, and kind of having
Yeah.
that passion for this, and not excited to not be with you anymore, but just excited to see where No More Sunday Scaries takes us. So no, thank you for sharing.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, again, this is not a goodbye. It's a see you later. Take care of yourself. Tell your mom and them said hello. And yeah, Emily will see you when she sees you. But I'm signing off. And I'll see you in spirit on Sundays. So,
Amen.
yeah, y'all have fun out there. Protect your peace.